Hello everyone, welcome to this session. Our chapter is motion straight line. We are still discussing about the introduction to motion. So in our previous video, we saw the meaning of motion. We discussed the distance and displacement, how they differ from one another. So today let's move on to the other part, whereby we'll be discussing the speed and the velocity. In here, we'll see the difference between these two, speed and the velocity, but we start discussing each one of these two and to get to know their differences. The speed, this is the distance moved by an object per second. So the speed is simply that distance covered by an object per given time. It is the rate of change of distance, and it is obtained by dividing simply the distance moved by the object to the time taken to cover that kind of a distance. This speed is simply a scalar quantity, hence it has only the magnitude only, and mathematically you can obtain speed equals to distance upon time taken, abbreviated as v equals to s upon time. So there you have it. That's all about the speed. Now let's see about the velocity. From there we'll get the difference between these two. The velocity, this is the displacement per second. So the velocity differs from the speed, as we said the speed is the distance per time or per second. So the difference is just there, where yes, velocity is the displacement per second, while speed is the distance per second. When you're talking about the velocity, it is simply the speed of the body in a specific direction or the rate of change of the displacement. Velocity is simply is obtained by dividing the displacement to the time taken. So here's the other difference. We obtain the speed by taking distance upon time, but we obtain the velocity by taking the displacement upon the given time. Now velocity simply is the vector quantity as it has this magnitude in the direction, but the the speed, it has only the magnitude. So from there you can get the other difference, that the speed is a scalar quantity while the velocity is the vector quantity. Now velocity equals to displacement upon time taken. So mathematically it's like that, and you can simply get that abbreviated as v equals to s upon time, or t. Now let's see the SI unit of the speed and the velocity. The SI unit of speed and the velocity the same, namely meter per second, and the other common unit the kilometer per hour. So this is the other common unit that can be used, but the SI unit is the meter per second. Now let's see the conversion between the kilometer per hour and meter per second, starting that changing a kilometer per hour to meter per second. Here are some of the procedures. So for example, you have to change 1 kilometer per hour to meter per second. We know that 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters. So what you have to do is that 1 kilometer is changed into meter by multiplying it by 1,000, while 1 hour is changed into seconds by simply multiplying it with 60 times 60 as shown in the equation below. Here's our equation. 1 kilometer equals to 1 times 1,000, but 1 kilometer per hour is equal to 1 times 1,000 upon 1 times 60 times 60 seconds. So 1 kilometer per 1,600 seconds. So 1 kilometer per hour equals to 0.2778 meter per second. So here we've changed those. We've changed this 1 kilometer per hour to meter per second. So from there you can move on to changing the other kinds of any kinds of kilometers per hour to meter per seconds. Maybe you're given 10 or whatever. So you just subject it to this kind of equation. 1 kilometer equals to 0.227. If what you want is kilometer per hour, you can change it to meter per second by considering this kind of equivalence. Now, changing meter per second to kilometer per hour, we know that 1 meter, we can change it by taking that 1 meter is changed into kilometer by simply dividing it by 1,000, while 1 second is changed into hours by dividing it by 60 times 60 as shown below. Here is how it happens. 1 meter per second will be equal to 1 upon 1,000 upon 160. 1 upon 60 times 60. So 1 meter per second equals to 1 times 60 times 60 upon 1 times 1,000. So 1 meter per second will be equal to 600 equals to 3.6 kilometer per hour. So here you have your conversion. So that's all I have for this session. I hope that's all clear. I've discussed the speed and the velocity and how these two differ from one another. We've seen the SI unit of both these two, and we've seen how you can convert throughout these units of the speed and the velocity. I hope that's clear, and thank you.